What's going on, guys? Kaiga here. Today's video we're going to do a PvP and PvE tier list for the classes in Neverland. I'm also going to show you on my stream the other day what the community chose as their tier list. Let's get into it.
반드시 돌아오게 하겠어. 더 이상 하수인만으로 남지 않아. 이제부턴 나를 위하여 오로지 나만 깨어있을 뿐. 멈춰! 모두들 절대 후회? 하, 네가 누구랑 얘기하는 줄은 아는 거야?
Alright guys, right here is what the community has for PvE tier list. What we did is I took each class one by one, had everyone vote. We had about 30 people in the chat, and they were voting. We also, during this, got the kit reveals for the new units, so that was really fun. Check out the streams if you haven't. So right here you'll see in S tier they have Shadow, Priest, Armor, and Dragon Fighter. And what we did was we put them all in their rank S, A, B, C, D, and then we went back and ones that had 2 or more, we decided if it was fine how it is, like D right there, or in A, for A and S above, we moved them around based on votes afterwards. So we said which one would be the top A, which would be one of those 4 A's. Not moving them up or down, but which one is the top A. So these are all in order as far as the community. In A we have Blazing Owl, Marksman, Gladiator, Dragon Knight. In B, the community has Wind Chaser. In C, Judge. D, Berserker, and Mechanician. Now over to mine, the one that I made for PvE. This is my list. This is from my gameplay. This is from gameplay of other players. I try to get a little bit of everything. I try to get some for people who are at the highest levels right now. Some big whales. I try to get mid-spenders as well as newer accounts. And I put this across all different types of game modes. If you're looking for something for a particular game mode, this isn't for that. This is in general for everything. This is PvE right here, same as the community tier list, which I have Priest at the top, giving you that buff, the star blessing for attack and crit, which is very important for PvE. And some PvE we're trying to kill bosses in 4 seconds or less. Wrap your mind around that. And then the other two I kind of have neck and neck. I do have Armor above Shadow Owl for a particular reason I'll explain. So Armor does the most damage. If we're just doing a sustained battle, just as much damage as possible over a certain amount of time, think something like Guild Boss, Armor hands down. The times where Shadow Owl comes into play is those ones that we're trying to beat everything in 4 seconds or less, trying to get times as quick as possible. And that's because in most of these, the timer doesn't start until you do an attack, and Shadow can stack their signs very quickly before the battle starts. What we were able to do in the past, and in some game modes you can still do, is stack Shadow as high as you can with the signs, and then swap your weapon to cannon, and then do the fight with armor. Some game modes you can't, but in general, this is a decent strategy. Down here at A, this is a 3-way deadlock, just like Naruto with the Sanin. But we have Dragon Fighter, just has a great rotation. You have to make sure that you're swapping to a different class in between to reset the requirements for the rotation. But because you have access to Priest, that's totally fine. Marksman has a great rotation as well. It is kind of like a set it and forget it. The issue here is if you do set it and forget it and let it do its thing on auto, it won't always use your auto attack reset between skill casts, which is a big deal for Marksman. You'll be losing roughly 5, 10, 15% of your damage if you're not getting those basic attack resets between skills. Then I keep wanting to call it Perfect Blade, but Blazing Owl, it does have good damage output even in PvE. Its issue is it keeps jumping around a little too much, and in game modes where you're trying to kill bosses in 4 seconds or less, you're spending most of your time doing movement, whereas the other classes you just do your damage. But if we're doing an over time damage, just like Guild Boss, like we talked about previously, Blazing Owl can do well, but it will pale in comparison to Shadow Owl. Down here in the B tier, we have Dragon Knight. It's big about its big burst combos. You really want a secondary class that can do the damage, but this can do high burst. Judge, it can have nice setups if you have high break. Remember, Cold Fire Bird reduces their block, and EM Chain Strike does bonus damage depending on the difference of your break and their block. Then down here in the C tier, Gladiator, its main claim to fame here is that it turns HP into attack. You actually don't end up using most of the Gladiator skills. You end up using all of your low cooldown skills and getting your damage out of just raw HP to attack conversion. C tier, we still have Wind Chaser. Their main thing is they are able to turn their second skill into something different depending on what they used before the second skill. They can either have a you can't move, they can also have a damage over time, or an AoE. 2 out of 3 of those don't really work well in most PvE situations. The rain lasting longer is good in PvE, but it doesn't bring its damage higher than the C tier. D tier, we do have Mech. It can do some decent damage over time. In something like Guild Boss, if you're just going to set it and forget it, this is a good one for that. But its max damage output is still D tier for people who are actually clicking the buttons. And Berserker, its main issue is something like Flash, only gets half reset against monsters. It gets full reset against PvP. If it got full reset against monsters, it still being an AoE skill, Berserker would probably be C or B, just because you're like, kill the monster, kill the monster, kill the monster, kill the monster, as full resets, especially in something like Wind Elemental Realm. Let me know what you guys think down below for PvE. Let's get into PvP. Alright guys, this is what the community had for PvP tier list. The only issue people had was some people wanted C to not be vacant. So they wanted something to move up or move down to make it, but this is what the votes led to. And the only other one is up at S. People could not decide if they thought Gladiator or Blazing Owl was number 1, so we flipped a coin. And then Gladiator won the flip. We put the one that tied with it second, and then the other 2 got voted. So like I said, we voted S, A, B, C, D for each individual one at a time, and then once they were in place, we swapped things depending on votes afterwards. So as we see right here in D tier, they have the 2 cannons. C, there's nothing. And B, they have Wind Chaser and Judge. In A, they put Dragon Knight, Shadow Owl, Marksman, and Berserker. In S, the community put Gladiator, Blazing Owl, Dragon Fighter, and Priest. I would like to hear what you guys think about my tier lists, obviously, but also the community ones. I think this is an interesting thing, and we might do it in the future if you guys like it. Now, moving over to my tier list, it's a bit different. Starting off in the A tier, we have Priest up at the top. This could change with the new fairies coming in, but this is end of April, so the collaboration fairies from Overlord do not exist yet. So we got Priest up at the top, giving you that CC immunity, giving you that shield, the attack boost, depending on your build, that crit, also giving you that block reduction, that tenacity reduction, that heal ends up mattering a lot in a lot of PvPs. Then we have Blazing Owl, which just has the silence, the maneuverability that cannot be hit with omnidirectional Slayer. It's a very, very powerful class. It even has the additional heal if you need that. Or if you don't need the heal, you can just have a rolling 100% uptime, 20% bonus attack damage from ninja skills, as well as 20% cooldown on all your abilities. Then we have Dragon Fighter. It has several stuns. It can ignore defense and block if they're under a certain amount of HP with a third skill. They also have Dragon Roar to get out of CC. They have access to the left side Dragon Transformation for damage reduction. Then we have Gladiator. It has access to Soul Blast for defense and block reduction. It has one of the best CC skills in the game, Moon Slash, especially in group PvP. Bring everyone together. If you do something like Wind and has something like Tranquil Balloon Flower, you can double Moon Slash and really mess up the entire team. Punitive Chop is still one of the best single moves in the game, especially if you have the treasures to boost the single damage skills. Then down in A, we have Shadow Owl. Its main issue is it cannot compete with PvP Burst when it comes to Blazing Owl or its sustained damage. What it does have is more maneuverability, which ends up being a big deal in something like Uncharted Battlefield, where it reigns supreme. We have Wind Chaser. It would be a B tier one, but its main claim to fame is obviously the extra dodge, which the sword class also has, but it also has Strength of Nature, which will get you out of CC, give you a speed boost, give you a heal. It also has a You Cannot Move. It also has AoE or damage over time, some pretty good options, as well as being able to play from range. Then we have Dragon Knight, anti-heal, tons of big burst. Its third skill doesn't say it stuns, but it does like a mini You Cannot Move. So you have a knock-up, cannot move, pierce with the Sky Rush, and then Spear Drop, which does a mountain of damage, is ridiculous. Or you can get rid of an ability for something like Dragon Transformation, which is AoE damage around you, especially in something like Top League. It can do a bunch of damage with no fairies and give you damage reduction. Then in the B tier, we have Marksman. A lot of classes can just jump on it at this point. It does end up being a good class into Ninja specifically, because the big thing with Ninja, especially what's currently in the S tier, Blazing Owl, is a lot of its things is you cannot target me when I'm doing my jumping around, stuff like that. But with the triple shot, if I already targeted you and you went to your bullshit, the moving around bullshit, I will still hit you with all three hits with multi-arrow unless you burn a dodge while you're already using a skill. And that's a big issue with Ninja because they need their chi. Judge can be good in specific situations, generally not one-on-ones. You generally see them being brought as one of the three in something like Thunder Roar or Top League to out of the gate double tornado and really mess up a team. Down here in C tier, Armor's big issue is they have the damage and they have the anti-heal. They have the cast cancel with the grenade, but its big issue is the Nether Fire only does the one area. If you could move the Nether Fire, like use your directional pad and move the Nether Fire once you're casting it, it would easily be a B if not A tier class. Then down here in the D, we have the usual suspects. Berserker, which I believe is the biggest difference between my list and the community list. I have this down in D. They have it at A. Even though it is made for PvP, you end up only ever getting those kill shots with flash in something like Crystal Battlefield or Guild War, clipping the kills from your teammates or killing bots, which, I mean, they're bots. Then the biggest issue for Mechanician down here, they did a update to Mechanician a while ago, giving their summons different effects, but its biggest issue is you're giving the enemy extra targets to HP steal off of, which is a big no-no. Let me know what you guys think about my lists and the community list. Till next time, guys.